Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page where I do this daily live stream, or nearly every day, based on the card draw that I do in the morning. The card draw actually is about showing us what's the most important energy that's flowing today for us to know about. And it also sparks a spiritual conversation here. So welcome. Today is Wednesday, March 6th. I almost said February. March 6th. Middle of the week. And actually here in Toma, Wisconsin, it's actually very pretty out. We get sunshine, blue skies. The snow is all sparkly. It's actually a little bit warmer today. I think our high is going to be like 23 or 24, which is a lot better than 3, which is what we had yesterday. So anyway, welcome. Before we get any further down the road with the conversation, I'm going to like and share the broadcast. And I invite you to do the same if you wouldn't mind. It helps us to share the information and for people to find us a little bit easier. So I'm going to share it over to my news feed. And let's see, wait, there we go. Had to change it. Oops, got to spell correctly. That would help. And I'm going to ask them to please join us. There we go. I'm going to post that. And I do believe Stephanie's still not back, so I'm going to actually share it over to the closed groups as well. And we're just going to let the peeps know. A reminder. And, of course, to please join us. There we go. And that's going to the Academy and to the Radio Network closed groups. There. That's done. It doesn't take long, and it helps, that I have these quick keys now. I do it so often, my phone remembers those words. It's helpful. Hi, Andrea. Good afternoon to you, too. So glad you're here. Julie Shumway Hill's here, too. Hello, Julie. And Tanya's here too. It says, hi, Neshi. It's nice to have the sun out today, and it's a beautiful blue sky. I know. Isn't that so true? It's still cold, but, it's beautiful out. It really is. We're supposed to be getting some more snow soon, though. It's March. March, the weather here in Wisconsin, and I know that there 3 of us are here from Wisconsin. The March weather can be kind of wonky. Isn't that right? Wonky weather. We could have a really, really warm day. When I say really warm, it could like be in the 30s or even the low 40s. Snow is melting. Sun's out. You can kind of feel spring in the air. And the next day, or even the same day, we could have really wet, heavy snow. Yeah. March is always an interesting month around here. And it gets windy, too. That's a part of the nature of March, I believe, and that's to help dry things out and help to move spring in. Yeah. It gets kind of windy. We used to fly kites, but it's kind of hard to fly kites when you have mittens on. But the wind is usually pretty strong toward the end of the month. Yeah. Can't wait for spring, though. Oh, my God. It's been a long winter, hasn't it? Longer than usual, I should say. I had something interesting happen this morning. Here in Toma, one of the taglines are for the area, right? Marketing is that we're the gateway to cranberry country, because there's a lot of cranberry bogs in the area, a lot of cranberry commercial businesses here. and Ocean Sprague actually has a lot of land here as well. So we're the gateway to cranberry country, and it is really kind of pretty, you know. Thing is that cranberries, in order for them to grow well, to be healthy and thriving, they actually grow in very acidic soil. Yeah, which means that the water can be acidic, where the pH is more acidic than it is the other. So we have to have a two-stage water softening system here. Because of the acidity level, the water will literally corrode and eat through, you know, copper and plastic and that kind of thing. And so almost everybody here has a two-stage water system, because they have to add the minerals in to change the pH to get it to balance, right? And then when they do that, because it's so acidic, it gets very hard water. And in order to deal with the hardness of the water, then you have to do the softening. So almost everybody here has a two-stage water system. So Culligan was here this morning to do their annual checkup and do all that kind of stuff. And darned if we need to start replacing a few things, because the age, number one, but because of the mineral content was a little bit lower than we used. More minerals is what I'm trying to say, which turned out to be that we might have to replace the whole system. And I laugh about it because it's like, you know, when we moved here 13 years ago, almost 13 years ago. And since then, we've had to, in the last 3 years, I think it's maybe 3 or maybe 4 years, we've had to replace the stove, the dishwasher, the refrigerator, the furnace, and now the water system. So I think that's the last really big item that we have. Yeah. Paul and I have some discussion this evening to talk about, you know, but it's not like we can do without it, because of the acid level in the water. And we also have a high nitrate level in our water because of the farms around us. And also we live near a golf course. So we have reverse osmosis to take care of the nitrates. Yeah. All of this balancing act with water. Oh my gosh, Maggie's here. Hello, Maggie. Hello, Maggie. I'm so glad you're here. Get a second opinion. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yep. Yeah, because, you know, there are sales, right? You know, they earn a commission on that stuff too. So, you know, but if we have to have it done, we have to have it done. But maybe it's more about, you know, that balancing act, right? Balancing act. Anyway, that was my morning, besides working with Star Nation stuff. Here is the card that came this morning. We've had it before. This was, I think, the very first dragon that we had. Fire dragon. Draig-teine. Teine, I think that's how it's pronounced. A fire dragon. We had a long discussion about this guy the first time we had him here. In the background, in the very, very background, you can kind of see it. Let's see if I can get it up close enough to the camera. In the background, you see the Tor in Glastonbury. It's also known as St. Michael's Tower. Yeah. Fire dragon. And in the foreground there, you can see it's called a torque. It's a necklace. It goes around the neck, and it's supposed to signify nobility. Yeah. You know, and they say that, you know, in the background, when you're looking at the Tor, you see those, it looks like a pathway around the hill. They say that that was made by a dragon. That the dragon, the fire dragon, will actually curl itself around the earth like that, and it causes the ridges. And this particular dragon is said to be guarding the cavern or the cave that is supposed to be under the tour. It's like a used for initiation. It's like a gateway, and the fire dragon guards that gateway. Yeah, I have to say, that when we got the fire dragon the first time, I was kind of excited about it because this deck, which is the Druid Animal Oracle deck by Philip Cargome and his wife Stephanie. The first time we got this card, I was excited because it was the first dragon we got, right? And there's 4 of them, one for each of the elements. And so I was really excited to get this guy so we could talk about dragon medicine, right? But I have to say that, and I'm a triple fire, right? I had more energy coming off the card for me for the Earth Dragon. I think it was the Earth Dragon. Yeah, it was the Earth Dragon. Maybe it was the water. We just had water and earth almost back to back to each other. No, I think it was the Earth Dragon that I had. There was a lot of energy coming off that card for me. But the Fire Dragon, for some people, they'll feel the same thing for the fire. The Fire Dragon feel a lot of the energy coming off the card, right? Because dragons have big energy to begin with. Yeah. Maggie's saying a very powerful soul. Yes, he is. And there's one thing that we noticed about these cards. The illustrator, who is Bill Worthington, many times the animals are looking at us with only one eye. Yeah. Usually in profile. Yeah. So whenever I get a card that we've had before or we've had multiple times, like more than twice, I ask my spiritual team if they can give me another card so that it'll help me to understand if we're going deeper or if we're getting more expansive with the information. And so I did the same thing this morning. And the second card that came was Hawk. It was Hawk. I'm going to move some things around here. Okay. And we had Hawk. It was the very, very first card we got when we started using this deck. Hawk medicine. I'm going to tell you about Hawk in just a second. I got to mark the page here. Because the second card supports or helps us to understand the first card. All right. Yeah. Maggie saying that is because an animal does not like to fully focus on anything. Well, I know that they have to take in their entire environment, right? Yeah, especially when they're a prey animal. When they're a prey animal, they have to take in their entire environment all the time. When they're a predator, they're taking in their environment for an entirely different reason, especially if they're an apex predator, right? And I would say that if the dragon is a predator, he would definitely be an apex predator, right? Yeah. Let me remind you, bring back the memories of what the fire dragon in this deck represents. And so the author uses the words transmutation, mastery, and energy for the fire dragon. That's transmutation, mastery, and energy. The card shows the flaming dragon of King Uther's vision. In the distance, we see Glastonbury Tor. Legend tells us a secret cave within the Tor, used perhaps for initiation. Flaming dragons often guarded such caverns to prevent their desecration by the greedy and to offer their treasure to those who are worthy. In the foreground, laying on the rock, is a gold torque, a Celtic neck ring indicating high status, rulership, and mastery. Yeah. Draig-teine brings vitality, enthusiasm, and courage, and an increased ability to overcome obstacles and to find the energy needed to cope with life's problems. I'm going to say that again because I think it's pretty important. He brings vitality, enthusiasm, and courage, an increased ability to overcome obstacles and to find the energy needed to cope with life's problems. Goes on to say that the fire dragon is an ally, will align you with the qualities of leadership and mastery. With care, he'll fuel your inner fire, which can be directed and channeled with a laser-like precision to help you accomplish tasks and achieve objectives. Which is like way cool, isn't it? So that we have the opportunity to be able to harness that inner fire that the dragon gives us to be able to really focus in, right, on what our intention is and the energy that it takes. Now, the card came to us in the upright position. It wasn't reversed. But I've said this almost every day, is that I'm finding that the information in the reversed is helpful to understand the deeper essence of the card. Okay, the spirit of the animal. So the reverse, it says this card suggests that you may be repressing a good deal of anger. This may make you feel that you're not in control of your life energy. And the question is, are you experiencing or often lacking in energy and vitality? So, at first I thought, well, that's a good question. It's a very interesting question. But then again, I thought, when we're talking about the Midwest, especially, there's this belief system about always being busy and productive, right? And so rarely do we give ourselves enough time to relax and to enjoy, because we're constantly busy doing something. Well, the thing is that that's a belief system that we were raised with. Doesn't mean that we can't let it go or moderate it. It's just that when the question is like, are you tired? Are you lacking energy and vitality? I would say that would be for a lot of people. All right. So he says that developing a harmonious relationship with the fire dragon will help you. If you're lacking in energy, you may need to ask the dragon to give you a little bit more of the treasure that he's guarding. Or if you find your energy level is too high and that you have this anxious energy, right? You may need to do the reverse, to ask the dragon to take some of the energy from you, guarding it fiercely and sure in the knowledge that you will be given the access when you really need it. So we can call on the dragon energy to help us to have more energy and more vitality if it's feeling low, or we can ask for the opposite. If we're feeling like kind of jittery and kind of anxious and you just kind of that nervous energy, right? That we can call on dragon to help take some of that nervous energy, that anxiety energy, um, and to keep it for us, because it's just energy, right? And that when we need that extra burst of energy, that we can call on him to release it, so that we can have access to it. Yeah. So what does that mean for us today, though, right? What does that mean for us today? I'm going to tell you a little bit about the tour, because I think that gives us a clue. That cave that this dragon is guarding. It could be symbolic or it could be actual, right? Because it's about initiation. It's about initiation. So if it's symbolic, where are you on your journey? And are you about to enter an initiation, or are you finishing something up? And if you're finishing something up, sometimes towards the end of the journey, when you're just wrapping things up, right? You've been through the heavy part of the initiation, and you're just almost on the other side of it, right? And you feel this sense of fatigue. It's like, okay, when is this going to be done? Because I'm done. We can call on the dragon energy to help us in those times. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We can also use it for our daily life kind of stuff. Here we are in March. Many of us are still working on our taxes and getting that done. And there's a lot of people who procrastinate about that. And so then they're working all hours of the night trying to get it done, right? And if you're one of those, you can call on the dragon energy to help you to have more energy to finish it, right? All right. So I'm going to go through the chat here. I'm a little behind. All right. Maggie's saying Hawk and Dragon intermix. Hey, Rochelle's here. Hello, Rochelle. Good to have you here. And Tanya's saying the hawk is beautiful with the blue feathers. It makes me think of Jim, my stepdad, that he has moved on. He loved birds in the color blue. I often wonder if hawk is an animal for me. Well, we can find out for you if you'd like, Tanya. Yeah, did I don't remember. Did Jim have blue eyes? Seems like he did. That's how I remember him. Yeah, he was a great guy, wasn't he? He's a great soul. He's a great soul. And Rochelle, hey, Rochelle. Mane Gazizik, good day. Good day to you, too. I hope I pronounced that right. That's Ojibwa. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Coming out here, I find that people are much more relaxed about time, which kind of puts me at an advantage in some cases. I laugh about that. Rochelle just recently retired from state work, and she did it. She lasted. She did it. She retired from there and moved out to Colorado. All right, and so she grew up in this energy of that belief system of the Midwest. And so that's what she's talking about. And I can see that that sometimes it is at an advantage. Yeah. And why not tap into it if you can, right? Rob is saying, what are the cards? Okay, hang on. I'll show you. This is the first card. Fire Dragon. Draig-teine. Fire Dragon. And the second card to help us to understand Draig-teine is the Hawk. And we had Hawk, Gaelic for Hawk, Seabhac. I'm getting to remember these names. Seabhac is Hawk. And so the hawk is coming to help us to understand the message that dragon is bringing to us, fire dragon. And hawk is the first card that we ever had in this deck on February 1st. Yeah, so these are the two cards that came together. I think what I'm going to do is, no, I was right the first time. All right, I was just trying to see how the energies are by switching them around, but I think this is more has the feel for it. So looking at the two cards together, just sensing, feeling, seeing the energy from these two cards. You know, both can fly, right? Yeah. And they both have water in their background. One's a river. And I don't remember with the hawk. Let me see. About the hawk. The hawk is about nobility, recollection, and cleansing. The card shows a merlin, the smallest of the hawks, perched on a cliff above a beach on which burned two Beltane fires. It is dawn, and the foreground to the left, hawk's beard is growing, with common hawk bit to the right. The hawk's mate, a female merlin, flies high above the beach. Seabhac. Seabhac. Okay. Yeah. Tanya's saying he was a great soul. We miss him. Would love to know if hawks for me. Okay. Alrighty. We can do that. We'll do that right now. Okay. You can move things around a bit here. All right. Take a drink. All righty. Let's see. Going to see, make sure that the pendulum, here, I'm going to move my camera a little bit so you guys can see this. That's a little bit better. So I just want to make sure that my pendulum is clear. Is my pendulum clear enough to dowse with? Yes. And can you tell me the truth on that? Yes. Okay. Am I worthy to dowse today? Yes. Thank you. All right. So is it in the highest good that I dowse for Tanya Black for the power animal of hawk? Yes. Okay. And so do I have permission from her high self to do this dowsing for her? Yes. Okay. Thank you. All right. So is hawk a power animal for Tanya Black? Yes. Okay. So we're going to get a little bit more specific. Is the merlin the power animal? Merlin the hawk? No. Okay. So we're going to test for the red tail. The red tail hawk, is that Tanya Black's power animal? Yes. It's a big yes. So not necessarily the Merlin hawk that we saw on the card, but hawk, yes, and more specifically the red tail hawk. Okay. And thank you to my team for helping with that. All right. Yay, Tanya. So now you can spend a little time researching hawk, specifically red tail hawk. And when you do that, it's nice to do, the animal speak, book or anything online that will give you the spiritual or the metaphysical meaning of hawk. But I would also suggest to learn a bit about them from biology or ecology or zoology, any of those ologies, and learn about their habitat. Learn about when they hunt. When do they have their babies? How long are their babies with them? Do they, if they migrate, where do they migrate to or from? And to learn more about them, right? Because their medicine is at your access. So you can actually draw on their medicine, or they can show you things, right? Yeah. Rob saying thank you. You're welcome, Rob. Hey, Gina's here too. Hello, Gina. Good to have you here. Yeah. And so the second card that came is Hawk, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this from the author's perspective. Okay. He says that Seabhac brings the ability to see your life in perspective, to free you of unnecessary baggage, and to connect you to your ancestral roots. I think we have to keep that in mind. The Hawk can help you to recollect the missing pieces of the jigsaw you will be trying to assemble, and he will help to spot the details that are significant. When you have a sense of your roots and of the breadth of your life, you will start to feel pride and a growing sense of nobility and stature. So there's that word again about nobility. Once you know where you have come from and where you're going, your life will be filled with inspiration and enthusiasm. You will sense a new day dawning, and you'll be able to make decisions with confidence. Okay. Now, the first card with the dragon. Now, with the dragon, the element is fire, right? Pure energy that is both within us and outside of us. The author tells us that the Druid had a tradition. The fire dragon is seen in as a neutral. Now, I was kind of surprised at that in Druid tradition, they see the fire dragon as neutral. Its effects are malign or benign, according to our degree of preparedness. Not all knowledge is for public consumption. Not all power is for use by all. The fire dragon is only malign or bad when it is encountered by those who are unprepared or not sufficiently strong to handle the energies it represents. When it can bring burnout and nervous exhaustion. The Eastern name for fire, what we're talking about, is Kundalini. This fire circulates through each of our psychic centers or chakras, and its premature awakening through drug-taking or inappropriate esoteric techniques can lead to severe psychological imbalance or even physical illness. Okay, so what Philip is saying here is that, energy, especially the elements, they're he's saying that the fire one is neutral in their tradition. That, in other words, they don't label it as good or bad, like we would do here in the States, right? Because they're from the UK. It depends on how we use it that makes it negative or positive. Yeah. So I'm thinking and feeling how this energy coming from the fire dragon, as we're also seeing the tour in the background, is that he can help us to identify our work here, right? He can, excuse me, he can help us with that energy, our physical energy, to be able to get it done. Because, there's many of us who've been at this for a while. Our soul growth, our healing work, on ourselves, right? And sometimes we get a sense of fatigue because it feels like we've been at it for a long time. And some of us have. It's a sustained energy that we're using to realize our gifts here, our potential here, to master our gifts here. And on the medicine wheel, which is right behind me, on the medicine wheel, in my tradition, that's the walk between the East and the West. Call it the blue road. Some call it the black road. And in Just, I call it the black and blue road because this is where we have all of our life lessons, right? And so we're moving from the East, which is all about our mental thoughts, and we're moving to the West, which is all about our heart and our emotions, our intuition. And it's in that journey from East to West that we learn our life lessons for that soul growth. And every time that we heal an aspect of ourselves, we can tap into or have more access to our gifts, to apply them, right? And that's in the mastery. And when we're looking at the dragon, that's how I see that necklace down there at the bottom. Remember, that was a neck ring, right? A neck ring that indicates high status, rulership, and mastery. So he can help us adjust our inner fire. That when we're feeling that fatigue, because we've been at this for a while, that we can call on his medicine to do that. And, when we bring in the hawk medicine, we've been talking about this for some time here at Star Nations, not just in this live stream, in this show, but in other shows. We've been talking about ancestral healing. We've been talking about doing the generational healing and who are your ancestors, because you bring their wisdom with you in your blood and your bones, right? So we talk a lot about that and the roots. And so if we're doing that kind of work, and we find ourselves feeling that fatigue, it's like, how much more can I do? How much more? Because we're so close, right? We're so close to maybe achieving our greatest desire when it comes to that mastery of our gifts. And then we get tired. We get tired mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Yeah. And that we have Fire Dragon to help us. We don't have to slog through it all on our own, using as much as our personal energy. And we can actually think of this as creator energy, right? The creator energy. Yeah. I get caught up here in the chat room. Okay. Yeah, Tanya's saying, thank you. I'm happy to know that the red-tailed hawk is for me. Yeah, learn about them and then start asking them to give you a hand with stuff. Pat is saying, I made it. We'll catch up with the replay. Okay. Hi, Pat. It's good to have you here. Rob says, Cullen Delaney is represented by a serpent and shown in the West as a caduceus. Yeah, I think it depends on the... yeah, you're right. But I think it also depends on the belief system. because the Kundalini actually, that isn't a word that originates here or even in Europe, right? That originated in India. Yeah, the Kundalini. Yeah, and you're right. It really is. Has anybody in the live chat experienced the release of their Kundalini? Because it's an intense, of course, everybody feels it differently, but it's an intense heat. Some people sense it that way. There's this intense energy. You can feel it building at your root chakra or your low back, and you can feel it when it releases. For me, I had it in a meditation a long time ago. I could feel it building. I didn't know what it was at first. I could feel it building, and I could feel it moving up my spine. And literally, in my inner vision, what I saw was a greenish yellow snake coming up my spine, and I could see the head. And as soon as it got like near my throat chakra, it like burst. It was like this intense burst of energy that went up through my crown chakra. And so everybody senses it differently. But the Kundalini is an energy that is meant to help us with creation and is meant to help us to move forward, really, because we can tap into it, right? And you can have a Kundalini experience more than once. Rob says it is the control of fire that allowed human free will. Without control, it is a deadly and destructive force. Yeah, I think that it's control. Yeah, some of that's self-discipline, isn't it? Yeah, I know that you're talking about an actual fire. But I think we can relate that to our inner fire as well, is that that self-control, right? Self-mastery. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like that. Thank you, Rob, for sharing that. And he says, I haven't experienced the Kundalini. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember what year it was. It was a long time ago. Let's say we moved up here in 2006. Probably, it had to have been somewhere between, I don't know, I'd say if I had to guess, it would be in like 2003, maybe 2004. Something like that. But it's an experience that long ago. I haven't forgotten it. Haven't forgotten what it felt like. And some of it has to do with your breath work too. Oh, you were referring to Prometheus and Pandora. Yeah, same thing though, isn't it? It's still about self-discipline. Okay, so Jackie is saying, got in late and we'll have to watch recording. Yeah, that's okay to get caught up. I can show you the two cards that came. The first one was Fire Dragon. And about him is transmutation, mastery, and energy. And the second card to help us to understand in a deeper way is Hawk. Okay, so when we're talking about the fire dragon, remember the author said that the fire dragon brings vitality, enthusiasm, courage, and increased ability to overcome obstacles, to find the energy needed to cope with life problems. Yeah. To overcome obstacles. So if we're referring to our soul growth and we're referring to our spiritual journey here, right? And if we're looking to tap into the wisdom of our ancestors, and so we're healing those ancestral traumas, those generational traumas, so we have more access to our gifts, that we know more about who we are at our root, right? That if we have any obstacles to that endeavor that we're using our fire energy with, that the dragon can actually help us through that. We need to call on him. And call on him to help us balance out our inner fire. If we're feeling that fatigue, we can call on him to ask for more. But if we're feeling that nervous energy and that excess energy, we don't know where to place it. I don't know if you've ever had that. There was one time I was reading, it was late one night. Paul was already asleep. I don't know, it had to been like, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning or so. And I can't even remember what book it was I was reading. And there was a line in there that it was just, it was like being in the state of. And when I read it, of course, it made sense to me. And I read it again, and I had this aha moment, right? It was like a being, a human being, or a spiritual being having and then fill in the blank, right? And I was so excited about that because it flipped a memory for me to fill in some gaps, and it was one of those aha moments, and I had no one to share it with. I was so excited about it, and I knew that I have a couple of friends that I could have called, and they would have been, what, at 2 o'clock in the morning you're calling me to tell me this? I didn't do that, though. What I did was I took a vis-a-vis marker and went into the bathroom, our master bathroom, and wrote in an arc. So it was like whenever I stood there to brush my teeth or do my makeup, I could see it. And I left it up there for a good long time. Sorry. Polly Joe would say it's right in the throat chakra. So what was that about, right? That excess energy. That sometimes we just don't know what to do with it. And so now we have the fire dragon that can help us with that. We can call on him and ask him to take some of that so that we feel a little bit more balanced with our inner fire. And he'll keep it safe for us, hold on to it for us, guard it for us. And then when we need a dose of energy, a dose of fire, because we're feeling fatigued, we can call on him again and ask him to release some of that so that we have a balance again in our inner fire so that we can use it. Yeah. So I'm thinking that with what the hawk stands for, is all about our ancestral roots. That when we're working on that aspect of us so that we can master, so we can know ourselves so much more, help us in the healing of those ancestral roots, those ancestral traumas at the root. That the fire dragon can help us with our energy to do that. Hmm. And I was just thinking, when we're using energy, let's say, as an example, space clearing. Okay. When we're going in to clear a space of lower vibrational energy, when we go in to do that as a space clearer, we are tapping into the creator energy to flow through us to do that kind of work, right? And you should feel energized. You shouldn't feel depleted at the end. If you feel depleted at the end of that work or any work like that, that means that you used your personal energy and not creator energy. Yeah. Yeah, I learned that the hard way. That's how I can talk about this. And had I known about fire dragon energy at that time, I could have called on the fire dragon to release some of that extra energy that he's guarding for me, so that we could balance out my inner fire, right? Because when you use too much of your personal energy, or if you misuse your personal energy and you're feeling depleted, you're feeling headachy, you're probably ungrounded. Besides, that kind of goes hand in hand. You feel like you could just, if you sat down, you'd fall asleep, kind of thing. Yeah, that's a sure sign that you've used your own personal energy. And so we have an opportunity here too to tap into the energy of fire dragon, call on him to release some of that stored up energy that he's guarding for you. Yeah. Okay. So this is what I'm thinking is and feeling is going on with these two cards. With the hawk, the author did write something about the great ancestor. It says the hawk is a powerful ally in this quest. According to Irish tradition, the hawk is one of the oldest animals in the world. He's one of the 5 oldest animals. And he says their ability to hunt vermin rendered them allies to the courtly sportsmen. As far-seeing hunters of the air, they are allies also of the druid, who wished to explore the spirit world and who wished to heal by ridding the soul of impurities, which the spirit hawk could seek out for him. It's no wonder that in popular mythology, it's considered lucky to see a hawk first thing in the morning. Yeah. Once you know where you have come from and where you're going, your life will be filled with inspiration, enthusiasm, and you'll sense a new day dawning, and you'll be able to make decisions with confidence. So if those are the things that you're working on, ancestral healing, finding out more about your ancestors, who were they? Where did they live? Right? Maybe it's not just, your recent generations, like your grandparents or your great-grandparents. It could go back for several generations. It could go back for thousands of years. If you know that you're Native American, or if you know that you have French or Irish, Russian, it gives you an opportunity to tap into that. Our ancestors gave us so much. Remember, there's a meme out there that I just love. We're the ones our ancestors were praying for. Yeah. And I also remember that had it not been for them and being able to survive, I wouldn't be here. And all the things that my ancestors went through, right? That they survived so that I could be here. So if we're working on healing those past traumas at their root, going back into the ancestral healing, these two can certainly help us with that. The fire dragon can help us with sustained, balanced energy to do the long haul. And the hawk is giving us the information and the ability to go to the root. And what happens when it's culminated is that we have more access to our gifts and we know ourselves so much better. We trust ourselves so much more. We trust our intuition more. Yeah. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Fire dragon and hawk. There we go. And the dragon came back to visit. Oh my gosh, and we're at the top of the hour. I'm so glad you guys joined me today. Thank you so much. And thank you for those who will be watching the recorded live stream. And thank you so much for that too. And if I could remind you to please like and share even the recorded broadcast, okay? It's to me, it's kind of like light worker or energy worker civic duty. Like a civil servant, right? Because that way the information is out there. Those souls who are searching for it, whether it is the specific information or if they're looking for a community where they can have conversations like this, we're just easier to find. Okay. All right. So if anything that was shared today resonated with you, my suggestion is to embrace it. And then watch, sense, see, or feel how today's energy is unfolding around you and where this information is helpful, right? Whether you are a direct participant or whether you're a witness to it. Either way, it's good because we're learning something, right? And if it didn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. It's okay. You're not going to hurt anyone's feelings, especially mine. If you say that just didn't do it for me, it didn't resonate, that's okay. It's all right. There's always tomorrow. There's always tomorrow's card read, right? Yeah. So please join us this evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for Soul Connections with Polly Joel LeBay. Yeah. It's a fascinating evening. It's a powerful evening. The first half of her show is the healing part, where you bring in your own intention for what you want to heal or release. You're working with your own spiritual team with that. Polly Jo, what she does is she creates the sacred space and holds that container for us to do our personal work. Her spiritual team and through her will help us to heal or release what needs to be done if we need it, right? It's a very powerful evening in that healing. To be there together in a collective, even though we're each working on our individual healing, we have the power of the community behind it, right? It's good. The second half is all about the card read. Polly Jo will draw a card for you if you like, and give you a mini reading with it. And so please join us, 7 p.m. Yeah. All right. I just want a last look in the chat room to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Rob is saying almost sounds Masonic, doesn't it though? And Tanya says, thank you. This is wonderful. You're welcome, Tanya. And it's so nice to see you here, Tanya. Say hi to your mom for me, okay? Andrea says, great information. Thank you. You're welcome, Andrea. Oops, I'll do that. Pat, I have French, Irish, Scottish, and English, and possibly Native American. I have more research to do. Yeah. And call on your team. Call on your team for them to help you with that, Pat. Ask them to bring you the information that's most important for you to know about. And then watch how it comes in for you. It could be a book, it could be a movie, it could be a conversation with someone. That's the exciting part. You're welcome, Rob. You're saying thank you. Yeah, for the What Do You Know, Polly Joe show. That's right. Oh my gosh. Oh, is it? That is very interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. Thank you, Rob. And Tanya says, I sure will. I have told her I'm listening, and she says hi too. Oh, can't wait to see her again. All right. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. for the daily card draw and conversation. Until then, Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi. That means until we see each other again. Love you guys.